Welcome back, everyone. We are marking the 35th anniversary of the day in Philadelphia when police dropped a bomb on a row house, causing an inferno which killed 11 people and destroyed more than 60 homes.
And now there are calls for an apology. Joining us now from Philadelphia is Councilmember Jamie Gauthier. Welcome to BNC.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me.
Walk us back for those who may not remember exactly the details of what happened here. It sounds so unbelievable that, police would drop a bomb really on Philadelphia on a row of homes. Tell us about this.
So 35 years ago, on May 13th, there was a conflict between MOVE, a revolutionary Black liberation group, and the police. It was a conflict that had played out for several years. They'd also had a standout in 1978, which left a police officer dead. But in 1985, after a lot of tension between MOVE, the police, and the neighbors, the police moved to forcefully evict MOVE from their home. They started off initially by releasing gas into the home and firing 10,000 rounds of bullets. And when that didn't force the group out, they made the fateful and unconscionable decision to drop a bomb on the house, killing 11 members of the MOVE family, including 5 children, and destroying 61 houses, devastating a neighborhood, and leaving a Black mark on the city for decades.
Unbelievable. What happened to MOVE? What happened to MOVE?
Yes, several members died, and several were arrested, and have only recently been released from prison. But several of the members are still around too.
And when you look back 35 years ago, and it seems just like a glimmer of time, but there has not always been a great relationship between the police and people of color in Philadelphia, correct?
Correct. And I think if 35 years ago we had called out this event, this grievous wrong, in the way that we should have, that we could have positively impacted relations between police and Black people in Philadelphia, and between police and other communities of color, but we didn't. And I think it's led to decades and decades of mistrust. And also a culture where we've had a number of use of force incidents that were not warranted in our communities of color. And so we're hoping that this apology offers a base from which we can build further reconciliation and trust and restoration.
Well, it's actually a shame that you actually have to ask for an apology. You shouldn't really have to ask, but 2 things. Have you asked in the past before and not gotten it?
So the mayor at the time, when that move happened, and the mayor who was kind of in charge of everything back then, was Mayor Wilson Goode, our city's first Black mayor. He's apologized personally a number of times. I think some people have taken issue with the way that apology was delivered, but there has never been a citywide apology that has acknowledged the massive failure in leadership that led to the events of that day. And that's what has been asked for by the group of activists who have been working on this reconciliation effort for the past 2 years. And so it's been the group of activists that actually brought this request to City Council.
And Councilwoman, before we let you go, we'd like to get your take on COVID-19 and the effect that this deadly virus has had on Philadelphia and people of color in the Philadelphia community.
Yeah, so as in other places around the country, we're seeing COVID-19 devastate Black communities. At this point, we have near 19,000 cases in the city. We are almost up to 1,000 deaths, and we've seen this have the greatest impact in our communities of color. And unfortunately, I think the COVID-19 crisis is shining a light on all of the disparities that we knew already existed, right? Whether it be health disparities or economic disparities. So it's a really sad and dark time in the city and across the country.
So difficult to hear. And Councilwoman, are you going to get the apology?
Well, so right now, the City Council in Philadelphia is restricted to only working on legislation that's COVID-19 related. But I thought it was incredibly important for us to offer a public statement on this day, marking our intention to do an official apology resolution. And so today, 10 members of council joined with me to offer our sincere apology for what happened on May 13th, 1985, and for the tragic loss of life that was caused by our own local government.
All right, Councilman Gauthier, thank you so much, and good for you. That's a great gesture on your part, and we wish you well. Hope you're safe up there, and please keep us posted.
Thank you so much for having me and for covering this.
You're quite welcome.